Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about some of the cultural habits that people have over there. And I will also talk about some of the cultural habits that we have here in Iran. So, for instance, you know that the Persian New Year starts in the beginning of the spring. So, yeah, one of the cultural habits that we have is that we have to visit our relatives. At least we have to give them a call or send them a message, especially if they are older than us. For instance, if you have an uncle or an aunt, it's somehow a necessity, an obligation to visit them personally or to go to their houses at least once a year, in the holidays. So, do you have any of these habits?
Yes, there are two or three holidays in the United States where families get together. The biggest one of those is in November. In the wintertime, we have what's called Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And Thanksgiving is it's very, very common for people, regardless of race or religion, or, because the United States is a diverse place. Just about everybody celebrates Thanksgiving. And so on Thanksgiving, everybody, it's usually to your grandma's house or to your mom's house or your dad's house, usually grandmother or mother. So you go to your mother or your grandmother's house. Families get together, have a big meal. They cook it. We cook and eat turkeys. We have traditional foods like mashed potatoes, stuffing, pies, and things like that. And then a lot of times, people will watch an American football game on Thanksgiving. So I don't watch football myself, but I do celebrate Thanksgiving, and I do like to get together with normally my wife's family because they like to do a big barbecue for Thanksgiving. So I like that.
So, regarding the food, what do you think is the most American food that you have?
The most American food that we have. Wow. I hate to be stereotypical when I say this, but I have to be honest. It's probably fast food. It's probably a cheeseburger with French fries and a Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
That's every American has eaten that at some point in time. Every American's eaten that at some point in time.
Yeah.
It's pretty common to see burger places, especially around lunchtime. It's really common to see burger places packed. Everybody's getting cheeseburgers. We Americans do like to eat a bunch of different type of foods, though, and it's funny because here in the United States, Mexican food is a really big thing. So one of the most powerful impacts of Mexican culture is their food, and most people I know like Mexican food. So the cheeseburger and French fries is probably the most American food that I can think of off the top of my head.
The next thing is that we can talk about our languages. Well, I am definitely familiar with your language as an English teacher, but I know that you might not be familiar with Persian. So, is there anything that's interesting for you to ask or to know about my language?
Well, something I don't I know this already, but I know that Persian is a very, very old language.
Yes.
It's older than English, a lot older than English. And I find it very interesting that modern day Persian is so close to ancient Persian that you could pick up a textbook from 1,000 years ago and the words would be different, but you could still read and understand it.
Yeah.
In English, we have modern day English, so the English that I'm speaking to you now. But we also have what's called Middle English, which is like the English that William Shakespeare wrote his plays in. And then before that, we have what's called Old English. Old English is unrecognizable to somebody today. It is more German and Icelandic than it is, modern day English. And so I find it very fascinating that for thousands of years, Persian as a language has remained unchanged enough for, if time travel was the thing, you could communicate with somebody who lived 1,000 years ago.
Well, yeah, if you speak about 1,000 years ago, I can see that yes, there are many, many similarities between, modern day Persian and the Persian that was commonplace at that time. But if you go a little bit further down the history line, it is going to change a little bit. So we also have Old Persian, Middle Persian, and modern day Persian, but I don't think it's that different. I was doing some research already about it, and I understood that the numbers, for instance, the numbers are 80 or 90% the same as they were thousands of years ago. Yeah, so, is there any sense that you'd like to know in my language? For instance, a sense that you'd like to say in English that I can somehow translate into Persian?
Give me some. I think the word is an idiom. So it's a language. It's a sentence that you use in your everyday language. But if you were to translate it to English, it wouldn't make sense to me.
Mhm. Okay, we have a lot of them. For instance, when you want to thank a person, when you want to thank someone that has done something valuable for you, you say "Dammit Garm" in Persian. But it's really hard to translate this into English. The word "damn" means breath, okay? And "garm" means worm. So when your breath is warm, it means that you're alive. So when we thank people, we say "Dammit Garm." It means may your breath be warm, may you be alive, may you remain alive. So that's how we say it. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. For the same purpose of thanking people, we also say "dast dard nakone." Dast means hand, and dard means pain. Dast dard nakone means may your hands never feel any pain. So that's how we thank people. Because you do most of the things with your hands, right? So when someone brings food for you, they do it with their hands. So you say may your hands never feel any pain. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about?
Yeah. So the whole time we've been talking, I've been very careful to speak in a way that your audience can understand me.
Yeah.
I've been trying to tone down my accent as we talk.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought that it might be interesting for you personally, but also your audience to hear a more pronounced Southern accent, because the chances of the people that you teach hearing someone from the South talk in their native accent is probably pretty low, right?
Well, yes, the chance is pretty low. However, I must say that Iranians are really interested in American media. So they consume a big part of your media. They watch American movies, probably more than they do Iranians. So I'm pretty sure that they have watched Western movies. Yeah, about the Wild West in which Southern accent is used. Yeah, and also there are a lot of people who are interested in American country music, which also uses the Southern accent from time to time.
Oh man, no. Oh no. Okay, so in my opinion, I'm not a fan of country music, believe it or not. It's okay, some of it's alright. I like bluegrass style music. So if I'm gonna listen to country music, I listen to bluegrass, which is a genre within country music. But I've, the accent that you hear in country music, and from a lot of those people, it's fake. They're faking it to sound more country, and that gets under my skin, and I don't like that very much. Because I grew up in the South, but where I grew up, so kind of like Britain, there are a lot of different accents everywhere you go in the United States. There are more accents in the southeastern part and the northeastern part where people have lived for longer. So I have, whenever it's really bad whenever I'm around my family or when I'm at work, because I talk to people who have the same accent. I have what's called an Appalachian accent. Now, in the overall scheme of accents in the United States, the Appalachian accent is pretty uncommon, and there are different dialects in the Appalachian accent itself.
Yeah.
So I feel like that if I was to stop trying to talk in a very clear way and speak with an Appalachian accent, to you I might sound like a hillbilly, and admittedly, I am a hillbilly, I guess. But if Iranian people have watched TV shows and movies and listened to country music that have country accents, that's one kind of country accent, I guess. That's like a country accent you might hear in like upstate South Carolina or in like Georgia or something, but that's not really an accent that you would hear in the Appalachian Mountains,
Yeah.
Which is where I grew up. So I guess give me a sentence to say, and I will stop trying to speak so proper, and I'll say it in my normal accent.
There is a singer named Blake Shelton. I'm not sure if you've heard his name. Yeah, so he has a song which is called God's Country. Have you heard it?
Yes, I've heard that song.
Okay.
it
So-
was played everywhere on the radio for a while.
Yeah. So this song is so American. He has an accent so thick that, every molecule in your body changes when you listen to it. If you start his music, if you play his music on YouTube, his actually official video clip of the music, you can see that there's my comment with thousands of likes there. After I listened to this song, I left a comment on his page on YouTube and I wrote, I used to be an Iranian. I listened to this song and now I'm an American.
Yeah. And
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. And there was another guy who had written, I used to have a German Shepherd dog. Now it's an American Shepherd dog after listening to this song.
That song done washed away all the German out of him.
yes. Absolutely. So
I'm going to give you a topic to talk about instead of a sentence, because a sentence would be really short for people to understand what your accent is like. So let's talk about a certain topic in your own accent. So tell me if you ever would like to visit Iran and why you would like to do so in your own accent.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'd definitely like to visit Iran. Is that how you say it?
yeah, that's Iran.
Iran. Okay. So yeah, I'd definitely visit Iran someday. I'd like to, I've done traveling here and there. I've been out of the United States quite a few times, and I've always liked seeing other parts of the world. I would like to see Iran. I really want to try Iranian food. I want to eat some Iranian food. I have some kebab kabideh. Is that how you say it?
yes, absolutely. Could be day.
yeah. I want to have some kebab kabideh. I'd also like to take my wife and my son to see Iran someday. You guys have some. You have so much history there in your country. I would like to see the capital city of Tehran. I would like to see the countryside. I really want to get out into the countryside, and I want to see what everyday people, just normal, like normal Iranians, not necessarily people who don't live in the city, but people who just they mind their own business and they go to work and they just live their life. I want to see what they're like, see what their houses are like and what their day-to-day life is like, and see the countryside. Because in the I feel like it's the same way in the United States. When you think about the United States, you think about New York City, and that's fine. New York's it's okay. But the most beautiful places in the United States are not in any city. They are out in the countryside. They're out, seeing this beautiful country that God has given to the American people. That's what I want to see. I want to see, like you've talked about it before, how Iran. That's how a lot of Americans say Iran. They say Iran. See how Iran has a lot of different climates and a lot of different like weather patterns and stuff like that. I would really like to get out and I'd like to see that. Be able to travel the country. Do like a cross country travel. Like somebody, if they came to the United States, I would say the best way to see the United States, you'd have to visit it a lot because it's a big country. But the best way to see the United States would to start on the East Coast and drive to the West Coast. It's several thousand miles, but I think that would be the best way to appreciate the beauty of the United States, and probably Iran too. Oh, sorry, Iran. Sorry. That's not how we say United States. We say Iran.
Yes.
But yeah, I would really like to see Iran someday. I'd love to visit. Meet you in person would be pretty cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So too.
Yeah, it was an amazing speech that we had, and I was really, enjoying the accents that you were somehow using when you spoke about that topic. And I noticed that it wasn't that different from, standard American, but the only difference that I noticed was the fact that, the I's were pronounced differently. For instance, instead of saying Y, you said
Yeah.
Wa. Yeah, something like that. But the majority of it was understandable, and yeah, it wasn't that hard to understand for me personally. I don't know about the audience. I will definitely put some subtitles on the video, but yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. So my southern accent is not what it used to be for sure. I lived in Charlotte, and I lived in a house with people from all over the country. So
Yeah.
they brought my being around these people, it calmed my accent down. But if you were to listen to my dad talk, my dad has not really ever traveled the world very much, so his accent is very thick. And some of my dad's friends, their accents are so thick that I have trouble understanding them. And I grew up 15 minutes away from them, So
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, the standard city accent is completely different from the ones you can find in the countryside, and the same applies to my country.